Hi friends, welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, healing, witchcraft, magic, tarot, feminine energy, mediumship, and everything in between. So happy Tuesday, friends who are listening to this just as it's coming out. I hope y'all have a wonderful day or evening or whatever time it is. And just a little reminder that since it is a Tuesday, I am doing the tarot for the week ahead today at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're listening to this super early in the morning, then just be sure to tune in as I do it live. And if you're listening to this a little bit later, just a reminder to go check that out so you can see what all the tarot vibes are for the week ahead. Pretty exciting. So guess what, friends? We are in feminine energy without bullshit launch mode. So it is the new moon energy still, and I just launched the course into the world. I did a pre-launch back in the summer, and so I'm really excited to do a proper launch. And the way I'm doing this launch is a little bit unique. You'll notice that there was no big pomp and circumstance. I've just kind of been hinting at it for a while and slowly sent out a very minimalist email last night. And I'm doing a longer launch period. And the other thing that's unique about this launch is this is the only time I'm going to be doing a group coaching component with this launch. So I've been rethinking what my offerings are going to look like for next year. And so basically I'm going to be finishing up doing all of my group coaching stuff that have been coincided with the launches for the courses. And so if you are someone who really loves doing a group cohort alongside a course launch, you're really going to want to jump in now because you're going to get to hang out with myself and the other cool folks who have already enrolled. And if you're a bit introverted, you don't have to participate in the group component. It's optional, obviously, but with this launch, that is a component that everyone gets access to. So I'm pretty excited about this. So feminine energy without bullshit. What the hell is it? Why did I make this course? What's the deal? So for those of you guys who don't know, I have a pretty random history with gender. I grew up being a tomboy. I grew up looking really androgynous. I grew up playing hockey. I grew up kind of as I started to develop, getting really uncomfortable sexualized comments from a female family member. Those of you who know will know what I'm talking about. And so a lot of that meant that I denied my femininity. I just felt so alienated from the female, from womanhood. It's like this woman I was supposed to be close to didn't feel safe. It felt like very sexually violating and not cool. And it just fucked me up, basically, as a kind of short version. And so I spent a really fucking long time navigating that. And the relationship between the whole non-binary thing and that abuse is something I only really realized in the last few years. And so I started my intentional feminine energy journey back in 2017, so a little while ago. And over time, I stopped identifying as non-binary, and some of you guys will know I had a fun surgery last year that was gender affirming, and that was really lovely. And before anyone asks, like, I am a natal female. And so I know that I've been using AFAB, assigned female at birth, but I've been reading some more books, and my opinions about the terminology is shifted somewhat. So if you prefer AFAB, then that would describe me. If you prefer natal female, that also describes me. Just to get really specific on what is going on when we're talking about sex and gender. So Anyway, with that whole journey, I realized that due to so many different factors, right, like family factors, cultural factors, I had become this kind of like very masculine energy vibe for a really, 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 really long time. And obviously, I believe that we all have both types of energy within us. It's all about finding that balance that feels good to us and that feels aligned. And we might be one way in one area of our life, and we might be a little bit different in a different area of our life. And it's all about finding that equilibrium, which can definitely change over time, right? We don't have to be the same person forever. We can try on new things, new ways of being, and that's completely reasonable and normal, actually. And with my journey with all of this stuff, I realized that I was doing a lot of chasing, a lot of go, 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 a lot of doing. I was basically trying to fill this void of not feeling loved and not feeling confident by overachieving, by overdoing, by overgiving, and just doing, achieving, and completely neglecting myself in favor of trying to attend to everyone else in the hopes that I would not be abandoned. But of course, what would always happen is that did happen. And I'm sure some of you guys who are listening to this can relate to that. And so what I see is so many women in particular, so whether that's AFAB or natal, female, however you want to describe yourself, or if you just want to use the word woman, that's cool too, who are kind of in this hyper-masculine way in order to survive. Maybe our families taught us that's how we need to be to survive. Maybe culture has taught us that. Maybe it's out of fear. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. Maybe it's a survival mechanism. But I know for me, part of it was I didn't trust... Oh, my little cat just sneezed into the phone. I don't know if you guys heard that. But I noticed that I was just doing, and I didn't believe that me just existing in and of myself would be enough for anybody, for love from family, which for a really long time was what I wanted. I've kind of given up on that now for obvious reasons. But, I just thought that that was how you would get love, was by doing stuff and, trying to please everybody and all of that. And I totally didn't realize that even though a lot of people probably would have described me as having a strong personality like forever, I didn't realize that I was actually denying myself the full expression of who I am and who I could be. And one interesting example, I know some people are going to have opinions about this, is as I healed my relationship to the feminine energy, the masculine energy, and all of that stuff, and healing all of my trauma, my Myers-Briggs actually changed. So I switched from an ENFP to an INFJ, and I became a lot more reserved. And it turns out that my natural state is a lot more reserved, a lot more chill, a lot more quiet. And I was in this very, we could say, masculine energy space, which we could say is a bit more of an extroverted space, a bit more of a loud space, a bit more of a provocative type of vibe, in order to cope with a lot of the stuff that I talked about, right? I didn't even realize I was doing it. It was just survival mechanisms that we all kind of learn without realizing that we're learning. And so I started this feminine energy journey back in 2017, like I said, and I just made my website for the course Feminine Energy Without Bullshit go live, and I've got aura photos on there, one from I think 2018 and one from this year, and the auras in both of them are red. And you can see from 2018, my aura is like almost fucking non-existent. It's like the whole photo is like black with like this tiny red rainbow over my head and this little like McDonald's arch, and contrast that to this year where the red of my aura took up the entire image. And I think that contrast is so important to show you guys, to show how dark and weak my aura used to be, how much of a shell I was, even though I'm sure a lot of y'all who knew me back then were probably thinking, oh, Sabrina's a powerhouse, blah, blah. And like that might have been true in a lot of ways. But, in a lot of ways it really wasn't. Or I was a powerhouse, but at like what cost to myself? At what cost to my spirit? It wasn't a full expression of self from heart. It was an expression of self from coping with trauma and doing my best to survive. And so it's been really interesting to be at this point with all of that, healing. And I do find feminine energy to have been this kind of healing from trauma boot camp. And obviously, everyone, please go to therapy. Please go to your doctor. Please get your hormones checked. Please get your blood checked. Go to therapy. Do all that stuff. Anything with me, whether it's tarot or magic or feminine energy, none of that is a substitute for therapy. It's best used alongside everything. I think we all need this ecosystem of supports, ecosystem of tools and methods. But for me, the feminine energy thing really was this boot camp of learning to just trust. Trust in myself, trust in the universe. Because I was doing so much chasing, and in my work, I still don't mind chasing opportunities. I think that's reasonable. But when it came to relationships, whether it was friendships or in dating, I was like going after people, and it did not get me any fucking good results. I'll say that. And I find myself now in this very interesting position where I'm not chasing anyone like ever. And I feel really good and grounded. And the quality of my connections, even if there's less connections, is so much higher than in the past. And not everything in the past, though. That's complicated. Because I have had some really amazing relationships as well. But it's been so interesting to just notice the different vibration in myself, and not to sound super cheesy, but what that has attracted and what and who else has vibrated in my direction as a result of that. And it sounds very hippy dippy, and I definitely didn't believe it when I first started learning about all of this stuff. And obviously my journey is not over. I'm always going to be learning, always going to be growing, always going to be trying to elevate my vibe and learn more and heal from different things. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I need to heal from that I'm not even aware of. That's the beauty of this process, I think. That's the beauty of self-development and personal transformation and spirituality, is it can get us in a constant relationship with transformation, with growth, and yes, maintaining a stable self throughout all that, but also deciding to see what the next version of ourselves is. What else can we learn? How else can we grow? And the feminine energy piece for me has been one of the most important components of it, right? Because a lot of it is trust and creating the space for trust to really be tested and for the intentions of other people to really become very clear. And we can only really start to believe that we are loved for who we are rather than what we do as women in particular, let's say. When we actually take that leap and take that risk to stop overgiving to everyone around us and attending to everyone else's needs before our own. If we're committed to keeping in that space, then, we'll never give ourselves the opportunity to really take that step back and see where the chips fall, or whatever follows, whatever the expression is. And so the course is a little bit multifaceted, right? It's about connecting with spiritual feminine energy. So that's going to be like saints, goddesses, stuff like that. It's It's also about connecting with the feminine energy within ourselves. It's also about learning how to be and have that be enough, both for our own selves and also in our connections with others. It is not a dating course, I will say that, though I will say certain things about relating to others in the course. It's a course that is very multifaceted. It's spiritual, it's magical, it's about energetic transformation. It is about gendered energy in a way, and yet it's open to everybody who wants to take it. And who knows, maybe I'll do another course one day on masculine energy. But there is a lot about both in this course, and you guys can see the entire curriculum on the course page, which is sabrinamscott.com/FEWOBS. If you go over to my website, sabrinamscott.com, and click courses, and honestly, my website needs to be totally overhauled, but if you click the course section and you scroll down to the bottom of the options, you will see FEWOBS there. The link will also be in the description of this video. Oh my God. I'm so used to YouTube. This podcast, which I guess is also going to be available on YouTube with its little video of the the image for the thing. Clearly, I'm tired and need a coffee. But anyway, all this feminine energy stuff, like, to be honest, I'm a little bit worried, like, oh my God, am I going to be canceled for saying this? Because no one wants to talk about gendered energy. And in my big courses, Magic and Tarot Without Bullshit, I don't talk about energy in a gendered way. And I think that's foundational. I don't regret talking about it that way. I think that's perfect the way I talked about it. But with this, with Feminine Energy Without Bullshit, it's like our body is the altar. And shifting our energy, shifting our vibration is the magic. And that is everything on a whole advanced level. It's about shifting our being, shifting our habits, shifting our ways of moving in the world. And that can be a lot harder because it involves rewriting, relearning, and really doing that alchemical work within ourselves. So I'll be showing a lot more about the course over the next few days. And I am going to be doing a YouTube live as well. I was supposed to do it last week, but for some reason I didn't feel at the right time. So I'm doing it this week on Thursday at noon Eastern time. A little bit about my journey with feminine energy. I know I talked about it a little bit today, and I'll talk about it a little bit in YouTube live for the tarot of the week as well. But it's just a really important thing, and I want to talk about. It's really changed my life, and I know that it can change the lives of others if only folks decide to open to it. And if you guys have got any questions about this, please do just put a comment on the YouTube video for this episode, or reach out on Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott, or just send me an email, ceo@sabrinamscott.com. Of course, my website is sabrinamscott.com, and you can check out the information for the course at sabrinamscott.com/FEWOBS. You can enroll until the 22nd, and again, this is the only time I'm doing the group cohort for this course, so you're going to want to jump in if you are considering it and think it'd be helpful for you. All right, friends, that's it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.